I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Busier than a cat having kittens.
This week on isletunes, it's a look back at the season that was as Season 3 comes to a close, with interview revisits from Chris Roumbanis, Sandy MacQuarrie, Lizleo, Norm Strangely, and JimSidMac. Don't worry, you're getting their music too. Yous ready, PEI? Let's get her done! How's she going, Prince Edward Island? I'm your host, Adam Michael James, and you are listening to the June 19th, 2026 episode of the Music PEI Award-nominated isletunes. The word is penultimate, and that means second to the last. That's where we're at right here, because this is the second to the last installment of Season 3 of isletunes. Next week is the big season finale, and I cannot underestimate the adjective big. isletunes is doing a live episode over at the Trailside Music Hall downtown this coming Tuesday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. And the lineup of performers, I'd be willing to bet my Madonna albums, singles, and maxi singles that there's never been a combination of PEI acts like this all together in the same venue at the same time before. We're talking Richard Wood, only our island son, world-renowned fiddler. We've got Karen Pyra, who blew up solo before blowing up even harder as one half of the pro second half of life duo Aging Disgracefully. Groovy LeFunk and the Souche guitarist Nico Romero is going to show off some of his own songs. Mi'kmaq rapper Jay Dis will be there to break off some realness about mental health and indigenous issues. Paula Arsenault, who also performs with the choir The Starlings, will show you what a powerhouse voice she's got en français. And you absolutely cannot miss bluesman Scott Parsons, who's been taking PEI Black history that's fallen through the cracks and never should have, and recording songs about it for over 30 years now. Of course, I would fully suck if I didn't mention the other talented musicians who will be providing accompaniment for the main acts, all headliners in their own right. Alongside Scott Parsons will be Sean Mooney, M. Peters from Takeda Takeda, and Paul Broadbent, papa of rapper Eric Broadbent and releaser of music about equality and justice since 1989. Both Paula Arsenault and Richard Wood will have the accomplished Brent Chasen from Studio Dimanche at their side right there on stage. Plus, singer Jocelyn LeBlanc will be harmonizing with Paula, and Karen Pyra is bringing up none other than Luca Hall, the wunderkind fiddler who's all grown up now and has been establishing a career in country music the last couple of years. You don't really want to miss these guys, right? Get your tickets now at trailside.ca or call up Back Alley Music at 902-367-3311 for same. A portion of the money you pony up for your seats will go to the Cooper Institute, which has been advocating for democracy on PEI since 1984. As an American expat, I'm very concerned about the fascism growing like algae and Hair Pumpkin Fear's reflecting pond happening up here. This is the only real platform I have, so I feel I've got to use it to make even a little bit of a difference. A representative from the Cooper Institute will be at the show to say a few words, and what show would be complete without a word from our sponsor, in this case, The Humble Barber and Garden Isle Computing. Whether you need a snazzy cut or your laptop just cut out, these local businesses have you covered. The isletunes season finale live show. Are you going to be able to live with saying you missed it? There, no pressure. Does it sound like I'm more concerned with next week's episode than this one? Well, full disclosure, you wouldn't be wrong. It takes a lot more to organize and prepare for a big live concert than it does to do regular episodes from my couch. So, yes, I'm taking a bit of the lazy way out this go-round, but presenting a retrospective of this season, which is number 3, is rather a good lead-up to next week's season finale. Let's go with that and start by revisiting last November's conversation with Chris Roumbanis. He's from North Bay, Ontario originally, but if his making PEI his home since 1980 doesn't take him out of CFA territory, then CFA rules need to be amended. Chris did his first island gig that same year, and the number of bands he's jammed in, well, I dare you to try and count that high. Most notably, Chris began fronting the Blueprints in 1998, and you can still catch him on stage at the Salvador Dali on Saturdays as part of the ongoing Got Blues concert series. Did you pick up that this guy is seriously into blues? Extra points for you. Your reward is listening to Chris recount his career in this
isletunes Flashback.
Now, one of PEI's nicknames is the Emerald Isle, but thanks largely in part to this man, the province often takes on a blue tone as well. Realtor, sound engineer, and former letter carrier, this fellow has been delivering straight up blues from tip to tip for over 4 decades. And if we're going to touch on that genre in an episode, then it would be downright sinful to not put a microphone in front of this guy. So thanks to the magic of Zoom, it's time to welcome Chris Roumbanis up in here. Welcome, Chris, and thank you so much for having this chat with me.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
It's great to have you. So you grew up in North Bay, Ontario. Were you drawn to the blues already in childhood, or did your affinity for the genre come later?
Well, my dad listened to a lot of blues and jazz and stuff. So on a Sunday, we had one of those old record players where he'd put like 6 records on and then he'd flip them over. And that would be our Sunday. And then Ed Sullivan would come on. And, and then I discovered the Beatles and then discovered blues that these guys actually, a lot of the stuff they were doing was done by black guys in America, before they did it. So
If I have my info right, you came to PEI in 1973, and
I went out west in 1973. Went out to British Columbia, and I worked out there. That's when I first started playing in bars, like professionally. Our first gig was at the Karamias Hotel in Karamias, BC.
When did you come to the island?
January 23rd, 1980.
A day that sticks out in your head. You played your first island gig at Dundee Arms in 1980, is that right?
Yep.
Do you remember that show? And was the experience a springboard for you at all?
Well, it was kind of a funny experience because I was going through, when I was out west, I was kind of into abusing substances. And then when I moved here, I just wanted to get away from that whole scene. So I was drying out and just getting off of everything. And plus the 2 children in tow. And so I just, the first gig in there was nerve wracking, actually. It was scary because I sat there. And actually what happened was really funny. I played one song and then I started that song again because I was so nervous. But after that, I was fine. I just kept going from there.
Now, the number of bands you've been involved with since then, I could use up the whole episode mentioning them all.
There's quite a few.
The Rubber Boot Band, Undercover, Long Shot, right?
Long Shot, yeah.
And of course, the Blueprints. Now, does any one group stand out for you? And was there one that you got more out of than any other one?
They were all fun. Yeah, every one of them was fun in its own way, Like some of them were country rock bands, and some of them were rock bands, and some of them were dance bands and wedding bands. And then the Blueprints was kind of a different direction because I got sick of doing the country tune of the week, And then I just was walking up the street one day, up University Avenue, and Reg Balla, we've known each other since 1981 when he came here. Anyways, he was walking up the street with a couple other guys, and he said, "Hey, Chris, you still playing?" And I had just got out of this other band about 6 months earlier, and I wasn't planning on doing anything. So he said, "Hey, we need a bass player tonight. You want to come up?" And I said, "Sure." So it happened to be, it was Craig Dodge and the Push Button Automatics was the name of the band. And I was with them for a while, and then that just morphed into, like, eventually that ended, and then a couple of guys phoned me and wanted to do the Blueprints, so we did that.
And that was in 98?
Yeah. And that was Steve Love, he came up with the idea. Steve Love and Tony Argent. And Tony Argent's really amazing player. He played in Pepper Tree way back in the day in Halifax, when April Wine was still in Halifax and all that. And Doug Bridges was the drummer. And so we played together for, must be 6, 7 years. And then we had a succession of different guitar players. Paul McLeod came in, Kerry Wynn McLeod's ex-husband. And then Mike Robichaud came in and played with Paul. And then it was just Mike, a 3-piece with Mike and Roger Greaves came in. And the three of us, actually, we had recorded an album back in 2006. And that was fun. And we got nominated for the East Coast Music Award and all that stuff.
That's awesome. I'm speaking with Chris Roumbanis here on isletunes. Now, as we got into earlier, you've been in tons of bands, and it's true that you've also featured on tunes by any number of other artists. Have you ever released any solo records? I saw on MySpace, actually, that there was a project called Chris From Where?
Oh, yeah. I had a couple of silly songs I put up, but I just never... I'm not really much of a songwriter. I like to interpret. just, and I mean, I can help with song ideas and stuff like that and come up with, melodies and that kind of thing, but I've never been a lyricist.
Not everybody is that. I'm much more of a lyricist than I am a musician. So I've got the
We should get together.
Totally. Totally. Oh my God, that'd be fun. I think it's fair to say that the act you're most identified with is Got Blues, especially because you've been performing under that name since 2009. Uh, how did that group come about, and what keeps you guys going for so long?
Well, with Blueprints, we were playing, like, we never missed more than a week or maybe 2 weeks with a gig for the whole time we were playing. So I decided it'd be a good idea to have an afternoon matinee. So I knew Steve Barber, who was running what was it at the time? The Globe, which is now John Brown's. And he said, okay, we'll try it. I don't think it'll work, but we'll try it. So the way we started it off was there was a bunch of blues bands around at that time. There was Scott Parsons, who's always been around. He's probably the biggest blues guy on PEI and always has been and always will be. He's amazing. He was the guy that's kind of inspired a lot of people to play the blues here. And but there was Plain Dirty Blues Band, who are still happening. They might have been under another name back then. I forget. And then there was 2 or 3 other bands too that were all blues bands. And so, the Waterman Blues Band, and that was where Amanda Jackson first came up. And so, what I did was I got all the blues bands and the Blueprints, and we just have a different band every week. And I would sit in with them, each band. I would sit in on guitar because I was just sit on guitar and play with them and sing a few songs and just play along with them, sort of thing. That lasted about, maybe 2 months. And it was hard to do because, they don't want me sitting there playing guitar with them. And it got into an ego fest and all this stuff. So then we decided maybe it's easier just to have a different guest every week. Just bring somebody in from one of those bands and keep the Blueprints playing and do that, and just have a different guest every week. So that's what happened. And then I had a t-shirt from Beerley's in Halifax, which is a blues bar over there. It said "Got Blues" with a question mark on the front, right? So Reg's girlfriend, Julia Sauve, she looked at that and said, why don't you call it "Got Blues"? And that's how we got the name.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, in 2013, you guys put out an album, Got Blues Volume 1. What went into the decision to record some of your repertoire? And since there was a Volume 1, is there a Volume 2 on the horizon?
Well, I'd like to do a Volume 2. We just got to figure out when and how, sort of thing.
Right. Volume 1 is pretty much covers. Would you consider putting original tracks on a Volume 2 if that happened?
Yes. Yeah. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Because I'm sure
we do that. We jam, and we sometimes just jam some tunes and we go, geez, we should do something with this. And just because we're learning like 12 songs a week, it's kind of hard to fit anything in.
Yeah. And then on top of your lives and everything else, it is tough. Still, I think that would be a cool project.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah. We'll do that someday, I hope.
I hope so.
I'm thinking about doing a solo thing too. I'm thinking of going back to when I was doing a lot of acoustic blues way back when, like back in the late 70s. And I thought I found an old set list and I thought I'd go back and maybe resurrect some of those and record them.
That would be very cool. Talk about coming full circle.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It would be.
Maybe add some embellishments, but
Of course,
Yeah.
What else haven't you done musically yet that you would like to?
Oh my God. At one point in time, it's maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I thought, I have all the recording gear in my house, right? So I thought, maybe I'll try and do just an EP of all the genres that you can enter in the music PI, like an instrumental one, a gospel one, a country one, a blues one, a rock one, a pop one, and just put them all out at the same time. But I never got around to it. It's just an idea, Well, so I'm hoping somebody hears this and does it.
Chris, it's been such a treat getting to talk to you. And y'all, if you have not been to the Salvador Dali on Kent Street to hear Got Blues on Saturday afternoons, well, you're missing the real treat. Chris, never stop rocking, okay?
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to people on PEI. Thanks, man.
myself, why get up? Why get up? Why get up? How can I get up? Why should I get up? This whole world gone crazy, think I've seen enough. I'm gonna sleep forever. Why get up? Can't get drinking, I'm nervous all the time. Wake up this time, I won't lay online. But what did I say to that woman last night? I don't remember, better stay out of sight. Remember a gun or calling somebody's bluff, and so I ask myself, why get up? Why get up? Why get up? How can I get up? Why should I get up? This whole world gone crazy, think I've seen enough. I'm gonna sleep forever. Why get up? Why get up? Why get up? How can I get up? Why should I get up? This whole world gone crazy, think I've seen enough. I'm gonna sleep forever. Why get up?
Isletunes ain't got the blues when it's Chris Roumbanis, along with his band The Blueprints, with Why Get Up. That's from their 2006 record, Blues with a Feeling. From blues to rap. Hey, those genres basically have roots in the same style, so why not? Lizleo is a rapper who has roots in Summerside, where as a high school student he first discovered his love for spittin' rhymes during a talent show where he surprised everybody, including himself. Hard to believe now that's what led to him signing with a New York record label and becoming one of the owners of Flashpoint Music Group. The Liz is big on collaborating around here, and he has a penchant for incorporating themes of self-doubt and emerging victorious over it in his work, along with rhythmic discussions of mental health. Back in December, we connected over Zoom to talk about all of this and just how he got the name Lizleo. Check out this Isletunes flashback throwback.
isletunes content warning. Listener discretion is f***ing advised.
All right, now on PEI, the closest thing we have to Straight Outta Compton is Darlene Compton. She's a legislator, and there's also Compton's Farm Market and Berry Patch in Summerside. But that doesn't mean that the crop of rap doesn't grow fast and furious in that Prince County place. Securely grounded in the roots of the Three Oaks Senior High School, where he and the mic first met. This week's guest started as a shy teen, but quickly got himself noticed by a New York record label, and by now there are very few island hip hops who haven't featured on his tracks or on whose tracks he hasn't featured. Here in the iTunes studios, otherwise known as my basement, and through the magic of Zoom, I bring you righteous rhymer Lizleo. Great to have you up in here. Thanks for popping in and having this chat with me.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Now, I'm always interested in words and place names and last names and the names that people give themselves. Full disclosure, the Michael and James of my professional name is real, but I tacked on Adam and lopped off Reitzel, which is my real last name, because who wants to get called Pretzel all the time? So what does the name Lizleo mean to you, and how did it find you?
It's actually crazy because it was me and my buddy Nathan. We were like maybe 12, 13 years old. And side note, Lizleo wasn't supposed to be a rapper. He was supposed to be a YouTuber, like scary gaming, whatever, because that was what was popular back then. But we were walking to McDonald's and we were walking through a field, and I used to go by the name Epic Pop Tart. And it's crazy, I know, but I used to go by that. Anyways, I was walking through the field and I was like, I need a new name. I was like, if like I ever get famous, Pop Tart's gonna come at me with some copyright shit, and I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to deal with that. I was like, I need a new name. I just seen the movie Suicide Squad. I was like, who is my favorite in that movie? I was like, Killer Croc. He's the lizard. And I was like, I always wanted to name my son Leo, which I did. Shout out to Leo. I love you. And it just clicked. It was Lizleo.
So when did you first realize that you were a fan of rap? I mean, once you discovered the genre, were there particular artists whose styles or messages spoke to you?
So it's crazy because we used to live out in BC, and we drove from BC to PEI, and the whole drive we were listening to Biggie Smalls and everything like that. But I didn't actually start getting into rap myself until I was like, I'm going to say like 13, 14, and it all started with Hollywood Undead and Hobson. And I would rap these songs to my friends, and we would like rap them together and pretend to be them and everything. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a rapper.
From what I understand, you took the stage when you were 17 back at Three Oaks. Aside from being a first, that was a breakthrough moment for you, right? So what happened in that moment that turned the tide for you?
So I was actually supposed to have one of my other friends on stage with me. He was supposed to do a song with me, and something ended up coming up and he wasn't able to make it last minute. That was actually the only reason why I booked us for that. But it was crazy because it was my first show, and in front of my peers in high school, I almost shit myself. And if it wasn't for my other friend coming up, sitting on that stool and just pretty much catching me if I fell backwards, it probably wouldn't have happened. Whenever you get the school hyped up that you're going to perform, you can't back out.
Not long after your Three Oaks victory there, you just barely recorded your debut single when it caught the attention of a record label in the NYC. Now, how did that happen, and how much further on your journey did that association take you?
It's kind of a blur on how they contacted me. I just remember receiving that email. And at the time, my mom used to proofread everything because there's still a lot of music scams going on out there, like independent artist type deal. I showed my mom, and it was a distribution deal worth $300. She's like, this kind of looks real. I would go for it. So I was like, okay. It wasn't exactly Bentley that helped me out. It was the newspaper article associated with that. Bentley, they were a good distribution source, but they didn't really have a name to back anything.
So they were just starting out too.
Yeah. So with the crazy marketing, it was labeled as Summerside rapper gets signed to a big New York company and everything like that. People went apeshit. Come to find out, this company's not that great big and everything like that. And
Just because they were in New York didn't mean they were a big deal.
exactly.
New York's a big city, but still, I mean, New York is, better than New London if you're gonna attach something, to your music, especially when you're first, dropping a single.
Yep, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong about that. But I feel like because there's so much happening in New York, a lot of the stuff like Bentley gets shoved under the rug.
Sure. Now, these days, you are one of the 3 owners of Flashpoint Music Group, right? What do y'all do, and how does that shape your career or shape the careers of others?
Flashpoint was very interesting. We're not so much running up now because all of us kind of went our own ways. Me and Kevo went the same way. We're under a new label now, Shadow Crooked Halo. I have a new album dropping through them, but Flashpoint was kind of, it helped a couple artists in the regards of getting their name on the East Coast, because we did have a couple West Coast artists. With the East Coast, it gave them a boost, but that's all it did. Before that, though, we kind of had stuff going. We did get a show going and everything like that. But after that show, everything just kind of fell off, really.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that happens. It's all part of the music industry, whether you're in New York or here. I am rapping with rapper Lizleo here on iTunes. In the 7 years you've been rhyme busting, you've of course had solo cuts, and as I said, you've had a ton of features on your records and guested on tracks for a good chunk of the directory of the island hip hop scene. Which do you prefer, creating songs on your own or the collaboration?
The collaboration 100%. Hip hop is about bringing people together.
Who on PEI would you like to collaborate with that you haven't yet? And of course, out of anybody on the planet, who would be your bucket list to work with?
Oh gosh. This is tough because I worked with a lot on PEI.
I know. I just found out. I was like looking like, dang, he's worked with everybody.
You know, I'm gonna have to say Cavi. Just because if him and I were to do a song together, it would definitely push me out of my comfort zone. Bucket list wise, I would have to say 50 Cent, Nas, or Method Man.
I've noticed in a lot of your solo work, anyways, that you incorporate issues of self doubt and mental health and emerging victorious over those issues. How important do you think it is to explore subjects like that in rap and to have something to say rather than, boast about how much ice or crystal that you have, like a lot of mainstream artists do?
110%. It's important. Self reflection is one of the things I try to push. I'm actually trying to work on an EP called Reflections, and it's that. Because a lot of the stuff that is upcoming on my recent album that I just did is that hardcore aggressive boom bap. I didn't really make room for any of that heartfelt stuff, but it's really important to self-reflect on yourself and release those songs, to go back and listen to them and be like, holy shit, I overcame that.
And it didn't seem like at the time that you would. And it's not just a personal marker for you. There's so many people out there that can relate to stuff like that, and you don't, especially mental health stuff, and who don't really necessarily have an outlet for it because there's still so much of a stigma attached to it. I mean, it's better than it was, like,
Yeah.
when I was your age, but I think, yeah, it's just great that you're doing that in your work. So, for 26, you have this EP coming up. Tell us more about that, and if you're gonna have like shows when that comes out and stuff like that.
So for 26, I have the album that's coming out in January or February.
Oh, okay, so it's pretty soon.
So that's gonna have an album release party. With the EP, that's gonna kind of just be a self project, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not really gonna try and push it or anything like that. I'm obviously gonna upload it in case people want to hear it, but it's gonna be me for exactly what it's called, to reflect to.
The irony with that is a lot of times when artists do that, that becomes their most successful work. You know,
It's crazy because I watched so many interviews that say that, and it's like, it would be nuts, but I'm fine because it's for me. You know what? I would be more upset if Brain Invasion didn't have that kind of attention, because that's what's coming out in January, February, than Reflections.
of course, I'm gonna drop the virtual needle on one of your tracks here, and the one that spoke to me, um, is your 2019 single "Demon and I." What went into that track, and what was the message that you felt compelled to deliver in it?
There's always someone on your shoulder. There's always a voice in your head. Whether it's your self dialogue, whether it's the urge, whether it's whatever, there's always something in your head telling you to do stuff. That is what kind of demon and I means. So whenever I say demon, that's my inner dialogue. So whenever I say I made a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life, you got to do the mistakes to learn how to survive. That's you being like, maybe that's a good idea. Nope, I fucked up, but I won't do that again.
Lizleo, I want to thank you for dropping the mic here on iTunes, and here's to even more success for you.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Crooked Halo. They're releasing some insane stuff this year. Y'all better go check it out. Shout out to my friend Smokey, who's starting off rapping from Summerside. Kid, I believe in you. Stick to it. Shout out to my son Leo. I love you very much.
PEI peeps, our dude is always performing somewhere, so make sure you catch him live on the mic for now. This audio is going to have to do ya. This is Demon and I, Lizleo's unbeatable team on iTunes.
Thank you for having me.
isletunes F-bomb alert!
Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You're gonna really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I. Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You're gonna really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I. I'm chilling back, demon trying to take over my soul. I used to smoke a lot, burn through like every other bowl. But as my lungs went to shit, it really took a toll. Pink as a fucking cupcake, but black as all the coal. Now the demon says he's trying to take over on my body. Turn me so undead, yeah, a lifeless fucking zombie. Make me not feel shit like I just did all the mileage. I turned rap into a job and not a fucking hobby. Now we uplifting this beat, making the demon come alive. He feeds off the aggression and all the fucking lies. Takes over anybody, no matter what size. Keep talking all the fucking shit, you might just get a surprise. The demon and I, both 18 years old, exposed a lot of fucking shit, got a world to unfold. This is the truest story Lizleo has ever fucking told. He tried to take in my soul, but it was already fucking sold. Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You're gonna really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I. Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You're gonna really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I. Now if you know me, I believe in a damn God, but Satan has his toll, wants my body to rot. Lizleo is created for smoking all the pot, and even if you wanna kill him, he may never ever stop. It all depends what he really wants to do. He could be sipping on the booze and sniffing all the fumes. Could be so fucking weird, got you ever so confused. Ask the Lord for his help, he stuck his hand in reviews. Now he is haunting the streets, you better hope you get a miracle. Diabolical flow and I am murdering every syllable. He's a doped up demon, also a dangerous fucking criminal. You never know he's there, he's so fucking invisible. And even though he's mythical, he ain't that fucking visible. Let's keep it to a minimal, he ain't that fucking typical. Taking out the mumble rap with a single slash. You like your lungs get when you be smoking all the hash. Cause you could say he ain't a pain in the ass, it's the demon and I. Your life is gone in a flash. Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You're gonna really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I. Got a lot of mistakes in my goddamn life. You gotta do the mistakes to learn how to survive. You might just really wanna slip, you might just really fucking die. So sit back, chillax with the fucking demon and I.
Lizleo on iTunes, wrapping out the battle between Demon and I, a track of his from 2019. Since our interview, he's released the full album Brain Invasion, which is getting an album release show also featuring Adjust the Facts and the Humanoid Movement this coming Thursday, June 25th at Baba's Lounge. As if a whole album isn't enough of an accomplishment, Lizleo put out a separate single after that, a collab with Master Killa called Brass Knuckles. Dude is busy. When most of us are busy, it doesn't make the papers, but when some others are busy, it gets reported on. Either way, as Michael Jackson once sang, every day creates your history, and through the massive catalog of PEI periodicals made available on islandnewspapers.ca, I can tell you what history was created here thanks to This Week in PEI History.
June 20th, 1908. Ella Montgomery, and please call her Maud, not Lucy Maud, saw her first book, Anne of Green Gables, published by the L.C. Page Company of Boston. It sold 19,000 copies in its first 5 months, and today that tally comes to over 50 million. Maud began working on Anne's story in 1905 and said in her journals that after writing made-to-order stories for newspapers and magazines, she just wanted to create something real from the heart. I'd say she pulled that off, but I also know that her heart wasn't really in Anne's 7 subsequent sequels. I came by that knowledge writing the book and lyrics for the multimedia musical The 9 Lives of Ella Montgomery, which premiered 100 years to the day of Anne's publication on June 20th, 2008. June 21st, 1945, the Charlottetown Guardian ran on its front page the announcement that 507 officers and other ranks of the Canadian Army had been decorated in recognition of gallant and distinguished service overseas, of course, in regard to fighting fascism in Europe in World War II. The Islanders commended were Major Keith Johnston of Charlottetown, Nursing Sisters of the Army Medical Corps, Hattie and Anna McLean. They were siblings, and it's nice to see that women were being recognized for their efforts in the 40s, and Major Alan Holman of the Infantry Corps. Holman sounds familiar, right? That's because up until that point, he had been the manager of the Five and Dime department of Holman's store in Summerside. During the war, he served in Halifax, Quebec, and Gander before shipping overseas as a captain in April 1943, where he went on to fight in Italy, France, England, Belgium, Holland, and Germany. By this date, Germany had already surrendered. After the war, Holman helped establish the Confed Center and the Holman Grand Hotel. You know that, right? That was thusly named since it was built on the former site of Holman's department store, Charlottetown location. The soldier and entrepreneur lived to 95. He passed in 2010. June 25th, 1883. What seems to be an editorial penned by someone named Lancaster was printed in this edition, with the writer deeming Surrey an important place because it was beautifully situated and boasted a good harbor, a fine beach, 2 to 3 good hotels, and, quote, quite a number of business establishments where almost anything and everything can be bought, unquote. Lancaster felt it should be Surrey which held the title of capital of Kings County, not Georgetown. Of course, the fact that he was a Surrey resident himself does rather give away his bias. He also lost the plot a bit when he veered into describing why Thursday, June 21st, 1883 had been such a notable date for the northeastern town. His verbose renderings of a clam-digging boy who had vanquished a baby lobster which had been trying to bite him, and the concert that had gone on that evening, not exactly earth-shattering reasons for moving a capital. isletunes, the only podcast to play nothing but music from Prince Edward Island artists, ends its season with a live show at the Trailside Music Hall, June 23rd at 7 p.m., with performances by and interviews with Richard Wood, Karen Pyra, Jay Diss, Paula Arsenault, Nico Romero, and Scott Parsons. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Cooper Institute, which advocates for democracy here on PEI. This is a combination of acts you've never seen share a stage before, so get your tickets now. Trailside.ca, 902-367-3311, or scan the QR code. You ain't heard island music till you've heard isletunes.
Hi, I'm John Matthews. You are listening to the creme de la creme of Prince Edward Island music here on isletunes, and you are being expertly guided by my dear friend Adam Michael James. Please enjoy the best that the island has to offer in music.
And this episode of isletunes is covering the Season 3 that's been, chronicling this era of PEI music by digitally dusting off the interviews done with artists and reminding you of their repertoire. We left off with Lizleo, but how about we stay in rap by moving on to the Norm Day of a Strangely life. Norm Strangely may not be the first name that comes to mind when you think of the island's hip-hop scene, but he's been a part of it for almost 20 years regardless. Before he came in for a rap, see what I did there, in January, he struck me as a bit of a mystery because he seemed decidedly ungoogleable, which makes the info he dropped about himself for the isletunes microphones all the more golden. We dished his latest work, both solo and as part of the duo he formed with fellow rapper Bill Dozer. Plus, turned out we're both fans of a certain Ninja Turtle number. I'm here to promote the music. If you know, you know. Norm Strangely, everyone. While to the uninitiated, the mere mention of rap can conjure up images of gold chains and teeth, chunky rings, bottles of Cristal, and dudes rhyming about girls' body parts, the genre was actually born out of a need to explore discrimination, poverty, police misconduct, and more, none of which was addressed in mainstream music at the time. These tracks can be a form of resistance and questioning authority, and I say, if you're gonna challenge a norm, you might as well challenge a norm strangely. Quite the build-up for that, right? I have with me a rapper who's been doing his thing on the island going on 2 decades. He says he's lost more Music PEI awards than probably anybody else, though at least he got nominated. And in addition to his many solo records, he's just now releasing a group project that you're going to get some exclusive stuff from. A bit of an enigma, but hopefully we're going to change that. Yes, Norm Strangely is here in the iLetunes studios, otherwise known as my basement. I just want to publicly acknowledge that I flaked on bringing this guy on sooner because my brain is lost in space. So welcome, Sir Strangely. It's great having you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's all mine.
I'm glad we're doing this. It's been a long time coming. Now, as I intimated, well, there's not a lot of info out about you, not that I could find in prepping for this chat anyway. So how about we start with the basics? What tip of this island or point in between do you hail from, and how and when did you first connect to hip-hop?
All right, so grew up in Marshfield. I live in Sherwood, not very far away. And hip-hop has just always been a part of my life. I can remember it mostly, I guess, from like Ninja Turtle soundtracks. I would like
spin that wheel.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I had the single for that. I didn't know what a DJ was. I thought he said TJ, and I'm like Tyler James is like my first and middle name. So nice. Yeah, I thought it was my track. I loved it. Yeah, I've just been getting random stuff at the flea market. I didn't have cable growing up, or like internet wasn't around back then. So yeah, just picking like stuff from my mom to buy at the flea market, like Salt and Pepper was one of them, and like Yo-Yo. And yeah, and I just digested that stuff and thought I knew all the words, but later found out I was making up a lot of the words. But still, as you know, in grade 2, just grooving the hell out of that stuff. WrestleMania 5, I'd Run DMC perform at.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. But yeah, I didn't start writing until I was like 12.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I read that you submitted for a songwriting contest for a magazine when you were 12.
Right.
How did that go?
Good and bad. Bad, like I never heard back or whatever, but good because it got the ball rolling. Yeah, my dad, I gave it to him, and he was like not really impressed or whatever. It was like, you know, telling me people take like years to write a song sometimes, and that always stuck with me. And
that's not necessarily true.
Oh, I know. And sometimes it takes like 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's all flow, but sometimes you don't want to force it. Sometimes it is a long time.
That's true.
Yeah, I liked writing song titles, and so right away, before I was ever writing over beats, I'd make my own beats in my head and write down da-da-da, like for 12 lines, and do-da-da-da-da-da, and then I'd be rhyming along with the do's and the da's for a little change-up, not always rapping, sometimes pretending I could sing and doing that too. And yeah, so I'd have a whole song, I'd have like an album laid out before, and then write the song for what the song title was. And I did like lots of albums as that before. You know, just as a teenager.
I'm laughing because I have done the same thing.
Cool, yeah.
I have multiple album projects with titles all ready to go that I haven't recorded. Who would you say were your biggest influences and inspirations?
There's so many. I like looking back at like grade 7 was a huge year for music for me. I think like I went to Birchwood, so I was like exposed to like Charlottetown kids, you know, and then I like know like Wu-Tang all of a sudden, and you know, and I started writing that year too, so I'm getting inspired by yeah, like in Marilyn Manson, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Beastie Boys, like they were all coming at me like all at once, and I was like, you know, stealing lines from them just secretly. No one knew I was like writing or whatever, just a couple friends, but
never done that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd keep doing it and expanding off of the ideas of lyrics I liked by, you know, whatever albums I was listening to at the time. What sticks, I guess, is being stimulated. Like I just like to, I keep doing it for like so long because I just like it. Like my brain sparks up. I'm making ideas or like trying to rhyme things in ways I haven't heard before. And sometimes it's not so complex and it's just an easy passion stream. And sometimes there's a lot more thought to it. But yeah, it's just all about the endorphins, getting them naturally, you know.
Exactly, like you said, the flow. I understand that you released your first tracks in 2007. What led to that? And there does seem to be a lot of humor in your work. How did you end up incorporating that in?
Humor's just like natural. It's kind of like, I don't know, a class clown, depending on how comfortable I was in the class, I guess. Yeah, it was like funny shit, so I'm excited. But the
your first album in 2007.
Oh right, that's a cassette.
How did that? Okay, well, cassette.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a cassette only. I was between houses. I think I had like a couple months. Like my family let me back in, so I was there, like getting back on my feet. Mom had a karaoke machine with 2 cassette decks in it. So one time when she was gone, I remember I had like about an hour and 45 minutes, and I cranked out 36 tracks in that amount of time. I was all ready to go. I was just waiting for this, sometime they're going to be gone. I'm going to get to just rip this.
Just need the equipment.
Yeah, and it was all like one take. There was no double takes. So there might have been the odd one I went back, but I knew it all like good enough. And back then I didn't know I was 100% a rapper, I think. So it was mostly rapping, but I still didn't know, and I was in like some kind of crappier bands or whatever that I learned a lot from. But just to be able to, I was like kind of singing a bit and screaming a bit, and I had to listen to myself to know, like, okay, you can't really do that. And so rap has become, for almost 2 decades, like my primary art flow.
Yeah, with 36 songs in that short a time. I mean, that's Prince territory.
Thank you.
It's totally Prince territory. I am speaking with island rapper Norm Strangely here on iletunes. You've been part of the hip-hop scene here for at least half of its existence. Who would you like to work with that you haven't yet? And what would you like to say in your work that you haven't yet?
Well, artists, I had Lizleo on not long ago. Him and Kevo are both like really dope guys I've never worked with before. I've done music over K-Flow beats and Tech Tie beats, but I've never like shared the mic with them on a track, so they would be really cool too. And outside of hip hop too, there's like, I don't know, like Teeth Out's a band that I've been listening to, and I like
they're fun.
Money at like the Banana Stand's cool. I like Tanya Davis and Scott Parsons. I'm a big fan of. So yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah, lots of great musicians here. PEI Symphony Orchestra would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? Metallica did something like that.
Totally, Buck 65 did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always going to be doing this as far as I can see, and there's inspirations every day. It's just whatever pops in your head that's interesting can end up making it to a song somehow.
Yep, the strangest things can be inspiration.
In the normal day. The Humanoid Movement album coming out this year.
I know that you pair up with fellow PI rapper Bill Dozer in it. Is it just the two of you, or are there more in the crew?
No, it's just me and Bill. We started off with Dan Bingley, a.k.a. Rob Banks. And, we've just kind of been doing our own thing. He's still like a part of it, where this video is going to be shot and edited by him. And we have like beats on the album by him. We were Different Perspective actually, like back in like the 2000s. Yeah, and so guys do our own thing, still friends, and slowly chipped away at this.
Cool. How did the duo develop? And do you or don't you feel it's a departure from your solo work?
No, it's not a departure. I'm still doing solo stuff as well. I'm making an album with DJ Element coming out this year. That's
cool.
It's gonna be on a CD, and me and Bill's is going to be on USB, and then me and Eric Broadbent are doing a vinyl. It'll be my first record release, and it's going to have some of our old material plus some new stuff too. So
Eric,
three platforms in the year is my goal, and I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, three different projects in a year. That is also Prince territory.
Oh yeah,
so that's two. It's two. And Eric Broadbent, he's very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I have to see which one of you out cusses the other.
Oh God, I don't know. It just depends on the track. He's clean sometimes, so am I. It's not. Sometimes you curse, sometimes you don't.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember when he was sitting right there, we kind of had a joke about his potty mouth in his songs. So are there going to be any shows with the Humanoid Movement in support of that album when that happens? And is Norm going to be taking the stage solo at some point when your stuff comes out?
Yeah, definitely. I always do album release parties, and I just kind of what's going on. If I happen to get invited to do a show with somebody, or I'm talking to someone, know what's coming up, then I'm involved sometimes. Like, yeah, the last year I played the most I've played like since COVID, so it's been a good ball, rolling. Shout out to Baba's Lounge too. I like going there for open mic. Me and Bill are planning to go this week. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's just a good place to go sharpen the old skills.
That's true. That's the Wednesday night shows,
Yeah,
right? That
exactly.
Kinley
Yeah.
hosts. I have yet to get there. It's in the back of my head. I'm going to make myself do it at some point.
Yeah, you never know what you'll get.
Exactly, so look out. And there's one that I want to pull from your most recent release, 2023's A Norm Day in the Strangely Life. I'm drawn to come play in our island, EYE land, because it's a musical documentary of sorts of the PEI hip-hop scene. So what more can you tell us about that song and what went into it?
It's just my love for PEI hip-hop, and it wasn't documented so well. It got documented really well this summer by Hermit of the Woods with doing a display at the Confed Center.
Yes, that's right. I never did make it out there. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was amazing. Yeah, and before that came though, I did make the song, and I was interested. I wanted to learn stuff. I was looking up Tech Ty had a big podcast he did with MDB from New Brunswick, and yeah, I was doing that and chipping Eric's brain and Rob Banks' brain, just trying to find, as much facts that like maybe were between the gaps of stuff that I knew. And, back in like the 2000s, it was so awesome to catch a show at like a punk show. You'd see like a rapper. There wasn't really like hip hop shows going on. So it was all about the punk scene. And I was just so happy to see rappers at those shows. And then to just slowly, get CDs from there or wherever at Cash Converters was like most wanted back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I'd find something there, and it just you keep like learning more and more, and then eventually getting to be like friends and colleagues or whatever with all like the scene too. So yeah, I love the inspiration of knowing people are from here, and same with like Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Just yeah, they're my favorite. Finding old stuff from around our way, that's hip hop.
Yeah, I think what's really cool is, and that most people don't realize, is that PEI has such a large hip hop scene. I certainly didn't know that going into the show, 106 episodes ago. And it's been a real learning experience for me. Like, if you would come to me in the beginning, most of the names you rattled off, I wouldn't have known. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh yeah, Tech Ty, he worked with Eric. And,
yeah.
I mean, so it's just awesome that we have such a big hip hop community here.
And the thing is, too, a lot of it's not even a community. There's so many people just in like nooks and crannies, and that's just what they do. They're rappers, or they make beats. There's lots of beat makers out there too, and yeah, like I don't know a lot of them. They're away, and the people are always coming here, moving here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll just end up meeting someone who's been here a couple years. They're a great rapper, and maybe they'll leave in a couple years, and that's that. But
hey, but yeah. It adds more flavor to the scene, and it is growing.
Yeah.
It is growing, definitely, as are your amount of releases, which is also good.
Mm-hmm.
Norm, I've had a perfectly strange time, and I'm glad that we finally got to sit down to do this. Thank you for coming by. Congratulations on the humanoid movement. And, of course, keep busting out your own rhymes as well.
All right. Thanks so much.
Hurry, hurry, step this way. The strangest sights on the island. Freaks from the four corners of the world. Want 2 nickels, 1 dime, a 10th part of $1. We've got the show if you've got the dime.
Come play in our right band, yeah, there's stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear or people, that's my people. Come play in our right band, yeah, there's stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear or people, that's my people. Way back around 1994, I was in grade 4. It was before I knew cats that rapped. I had tracks that were trapped in my brain, so I snapped one day and performed for a few friends. The boosted confidence Never knew that basement was a crew who's placed in first already for setting a steady scene, getting crediting, settling the culture based on chaos soon followed. And really I don't know if there were more local crews out long ago, except spin-offs, then off basement, the man myth, grandfather of this me Tech Tide joined the group. Dice Mob with John, Michael Kelly and Eric Broadman. They then formed Busta Mike Connection, combining the two crews, adding who they choose to. If you a whack, they chew you like a jube inspection. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. From the late 80s, the scene grew slow steady. By 2000 plenty, freestylers were setting the bar up higher, and word hurts inspired me. A CD was fire. First local I heard ripping, an album Low Basement. Put out the first cassette. First CDs Numenon, a band with Ty plus Eric. 2020 Vision was MC Squeech, there was QT, and K-Flow was a prodigy. Ty and Eric, the trip was born in knowledge, kept growing credentials. Everyone sharing what they knew was essential. Heard so many problems, and 04 practical. Academics rob banks, and bulldozer helped ya. Boy, with some of the wisdom the forefathers gave them, and back then AR had shit out too. Props to Fat Matt and J Rock from the Trailer Park Boys, and Communicazi was rocking, no doubt, dude. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. Dropped the tape in 07, lots of albums since then. Not as much as Broadbent or Ty, K-Flow still kill shit. In 2021, thanks for this beat I've done my best, sorry skip some great artists and ill bits of history. MDBs from NB but family, Alley Cat Bruce scene, Elements my homie. I bump hits from Cavi, Spivvy and Skilly P. Lizleo, BT Flow, Kevo, where's Houdini? Shallow Breeze and Lobstar, I rocked out like Lavender. B-Knock, Marcus and Squid, Vince the Messenger, Spitters Union, J-Disc, John Steele, Ghost Sadistic, Slime Main, Problematic, Prototype, Tom Rogers, and too many to name. Thanks A-Mac promoting Fat, and all the Islanders, crafting and busting raps. The DJs, beat makers, B-boys, and those who graph. Lots of truths go forth and back like it just the facts. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. Come play in alright, then hear this stranger rhyming, the DJ grinding, different types of weirdos for your ear for people. That's my people. Rest in peace, JR, rapping power, my dude. Glad I got to meet you, aka Hydrophonics. Was fun driving with Meg, joking and talking about rap at shows at Alley Cats. Your first show I was honored, you opened for me. Carl Dingwell, rest in peace. Miss Freestyle in his teens. You were the first person I knew besides myself who did this, and you helped me be better at it. Still hear you rap a verse, man.
isletunes brings you Norm Strangely with a rhyme paying homage to the PEI rap scene. That was 2023's Come Play in Our Island. I keep feeling like Tourism PEI needs to adopt that as a slogan. Am I the only one? Let's get after it, people. How many PEIs can you fit into Australia? Rudimentary research suggests 1,350, since Australia's area is roughly 7.7 million square kilometers, and PEI runs about 5,700. Why do I even care about how many PEIs you can fit in Australia? Because that's just where my mind goes when I think of Sandy MacQuarrie, who spent many years here as a first responder before heading out to the Aussies' Gold Coast to continue that work. Based on his experiences, he co-wrote a book, Answering the Call, The People and Stories of PEI Ambulance Services 1905 to 2005. And the reason it even merits discussion on a music show is because he also wrote lyrics to a tie-in song, and got a not unwell-known Australian artist to record it, though Sandy Shirley features on the track. Despite the 14-hour time difference, we connected in February to talk about the book and the music, and why those emergency workers deserve such documentation. From one tiny island to a really huge mega island, here's an isletunes flashback with Sandy MacQuarrie.
From horse-drawn carriages that provided medical assistance to those in need to the high-tech transports we have now, we've always relied on ambulance services to come to our aid when our health and very lives have been at risk. That's never been any different here on PEI, where trained professionals and volunteers have answered the call for decades and decades, and it's easy to forget that these first responders are people too, and not just cogs in a well-oiled machine. Former island paramedic Sandy MacQuarrie has co-authored a new book, Answering the Call, The People and Stories of PEI Ambulance Services 1905 to 2005, which covers a century of local progress in the profession and the tales of the folks in it. And if you're wondering what an author is doing on a music show, surprise, a song has been recorded as a tie-in to the book. This seemed like a very apt subject to get into ahead of Islander Day, so here in the iTunes studios, otherwise known as my basement, thanks to the magic of Zoom, connecting us all the way to the Gold Coast of Australia, I introduce y'all to author and songwriter Sandy MacQuarrie. I think this is where I'm supposed to say g'day, but that seems egregiously stereotypical.
It is. Thanks for having me on the show.
Let's go back to the beginning. You were a paramedic here on PEI and elsewhere in the 90s. Are you from the island originally? From where and what you started in becoming a first responder?
Yeah, so I am from Prince Edward Island originally. So I have a friend who'll be listening to this and he'll say, you weren't born on PEI. And I was.
Oh, one of those.
He was in Dalhousie University for a couple of years, and I came along at that time. But the rest of my time, I was from there. So he came back to PEI, settled on a farm in New Dominion, and I grew up there and was drawn eventually towards emergency services. First through the fire department. After college graduation, came back and joined the Crapo Fire Department. Lived in a little village called South Melville, and there was 4 paramedics in that fire department. I caught the bug right there. Lived in PEI the whole time except to the beginning. Wanted to become a paramedic, and fast forward to about 2001, I lit out for a job in Ottawa on a helicopter as a flight paramedic and never came back.
Oh.
No, and here I am in Australia, 25 years later. I've come close to coming back, but I maintain very close ties. I come home every year. My kids are around there and grandchildren, and there's always a reason to come back.
Now, this may be straying off the topic a bit, but what was it that brought you to Australia? I mean, talk about going from one island to a much bigger island.
Well, that's true. Masquerading as a continent.
Exactly.
The draw was I had a very rich and rewarding career as a paramedic manager, senior manager, clinician. And about 2011, my friend Joe Acker called me up and said, would you like to come to Australia and teach paramedics in university, which is one of the very few places in the world you have to go to university to be a paramedic. And I said, well, that's not on my paramedic bingo card, so sure. They offered me the ability to do a PhD, so I did. And ended up staying and eventually kind of re-upping as a paramedic, and I continue to work as a paramedic over here.
Now, before we can get into the song, we do have to get into the book. What led you to writing it, and what made you focus specifically on the period of 1905 to 2005?
Yeah, so it started out, it wasn't going to be that big. It was going to be, I started kind of searching the internet for my time. So I graduated early 1993 from Holland College as EMT level 1 and started working immediately for Royal Ambulance in Summerside, and then moved to Neil's Ambulance in Charlottetown, Neil and Gail McDonald and family, and then did a little bit of time at Kings County EMS, and then kind of left in 2001. But I couldn't find things about my time through the 90s. When you Google paramedic on PEI, it's almost guaranteed to be 100% island EMS, which is great. But they came along in 2005, 6 actually. And I started thinking, well, I want to write the story of what it was like to work back then. A person I met along the way, Jody Swan, whose dad was a paramedic in the 60s in Charlottetown, handed me a picture of the first ambulance in Charlottetown and probably PEI in 1905. So then I thought, all right, I'm going to the archives and I'm wondering if I can tie the two together, the first one and the last one, the last kind of family owned, operated, not island EMS. And that was the genesis for the book. And that was 2.5 years of work to put that together. And what was interesting was from almost its inception, I mean, you see, that's an ambulance. It's almost always been tied up until at least the 70s on PEI with funeral homes. If you called a phone number looking for an ambulance, it would almost entirely run into a funeral home somewhere on PEI. Ambulance services began with hearses because they were able to move someone horizontally.
Exactly.
And then they said, well, we're always here. so we can come get you. And then they thought, well, we better get something better than a hearse, and that was the introduction of rudimentary cars, modified, and then station wagons, and then purpose-built vans introduced to PEI only in about 1972 was the first purpose-built ambulance. It wasn't any further ahead or behind than other areas in Canada and probably some areas of the US. And by the early 70s, change was coming, regulations were coming, and these entrepreneurs, they said, yeah, let's make a living running ambulance calls. So all of that's in the book, and all the kind of the archival material that we could find, the pictures of the old ambulances, the stories. And as I was doing the book, along with my co-author Sylvia Poirier, who
I was going to ask you about her.
yeah, sadly passed away very suddenly late last year. All the way along, I thought, I want to write a song about this. I want to have people hear it rather than see it. And even if they don't want to get the book, they can hear a 4-minute and 12-second version of literally 100 years of answering the call. We answered the call. And that was the genesis moving me towards it.
I'm speaking with author and songwriter Sandy MacQuarrie here on iLetunes. Of course, we are getting into the music now, and I'm particularly interested in that because I love a good tie-in. And you have said, at least in our communications before this, that you're not musically inclined, which makes it even more fascinating. And then I understand, too, that you're responsible for the lyrics and a vocal cameo, but that you also teamed up with a musician there at the Gold Coast. And this, I got to know more about this.
Yeah, so I've been taking guitar lessons as an adult, kind of post-COVID onwards, and I can play campfire songs, and I thought, I wonder if I could make my own song. On the Gold Coast, once every 2 years, they have an event called For Those Who Rock, and they'll go to budding guitarists and singers and say, we're going to train you over the next 6 weeks, and we're going to put on a show. They'll recruit, I'm going to say, rock icons of Australia to front the group. And I did that in 2024. So that was the impetus to say, I can write a song about all the feelings that I'm having as I'm writing the book. There was a house band at this little event, and one of the guitarists' name was Hayden Andrews. Now, Hayden offers songwriting school, and he's a local musician of renown. He is a local songwriter. He's just iconic. Very friendly, very approachable. So when I finished the book and I said to him, I really want to get a song. So we arrived at his songwriting workshop one-on-one. I think it was about a 6-week period it took us to write it. It took all the elements of the book and showed up. Like, I'm a big part of that book. Like, it's me. I knew I wanted it to be chronologic. I knew I kind of wanted to make somehow some references to the beginning, kind of at the middle years where it was all kind of funeral home, and then how advanced it got by the late 90s, early 2000s. And the last part of it would be how we all reflect on what it was like to be an ambulance driver, an ambulance attendant, a paramedic, a dispatcher, an owner, owner's family, that they are acknowledged for that 100 years that it took of them evolving to get to the point where they could hand it over to a single service, and as they should have. It was ready, and that was the song. That was the impetus for the song.
That's very cool. And now we can say that you are musically inclined. So do you think that this is going to lead you now to recording more music?
I think so.
I'm sensing that this is coming. Yeah, that's good. And now, to be clear, Hayden did the vocals on this?
Hayden did the vocals. We went back and forth on that. When you hear him sing, you'll understand why. Trained many albums to his credit, knows what he's doing. And I have one verse that I'm quite involved with. There may be another version of this song where I'll sing it or sing in the background.
There's nothing wrong with a reissue, like Sandy's version.
Yeah. 10 years later. We need to do a music video, I guess, at some point, don't we?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's just incredible how you not only documented a century worth of ambulance services and how it progressed, but crafting this song to go along with it. It would be cool if you did end up making a visit back here to do a live performance.
Yeah, I think the plan was always with Sylvia and I. We had this all planned out that I was going to come back next September. Well, this September. We'd have a big party. we'd invite everybody that was in the book and anybody that wanted to come, and we park some old ambulances out front. Anyway, that part hasn't happened yet. They might be
Still do it.
something.
You could still do it in tribute. Sandy, I want to thank you so much for having this chat with me about your book and your song. And I understand that you're a bit of an iTunes fan, so I want to express my gratitude that you've been listening in on the regular. Thank you.
It is really good. And where else am I going to get my haywire fix? It's not just the songs, it's the commentary. It's very funny. It's very funny.
I will have some Tim Tams in your honor.
Oh, so
Look
good.
it up, iTuners. You gotta look it up. It's at Sobeys, okay? And that's kind of a cheat, but still. Now, from the page to people's ears, the story of PEI's emergency medical services and how they developed over 100 years. This is a creation of Sandy MacQuarrie with an assist from Australian musician Hayden Andrews, or Hayden Go Seek, I think he's called.
It is. That's his business. Yeah.
Let's see, I did a little research on that. Whichever name you prefer, Sandy is here, and the song is We Answered the Call. It's here on iTunes. Sandy, thanks again for answering my call.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I loved it.
A cry for help was calling out our name. The lantern in the window lit the way. Traveling past waves lapping at island shores. With a hitch in our breath, slowly pushed open the door. We gave our all. We always found a way. Promise we recall, care was coming not far away. We answered the call. The siren will soon break the silent night. The baby's born, but something's not quite right. The panic voice is shouting through the phone. Told them to hold on tight, you're not alone. Promise we recall, care was coming not far away. Well, you know we answered the call.
Royal Ambulance. It's 911 calling. Just had multiple reports of an auto pedestrian accident at Central and
pages of that century are turning in our hands. We're sharing all the stories only those who've been there understand. We're counting every blessing and know the prices that we paid. All the calls that changed us in 100 different ways. Coming not far away. You know we answered the call. dedicated to all those who have answered the call. We thank you.
Musician Hayden Andrews, lyricist Sandy MacQuarrie, both on iTunes via their collaboration We Answered the Call, which in itself is a musical tie-in to Sandy's book Answering the Call, The People and Stories of PEI Ambulance Services 1905 to 2005. For Hayden's part, he will be visiting the island in August from what I understand, and he's been looking for places to jam locally. Find him on social media under the tag Hayden Go Seek, that's Hayden Go Seek, and hook him up if you've got ideas and or connections. Of course, I've been making a big thing out of mentioning the iTunes season finale live show happening at the Trailside Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and I can do that because my podcast, my rules. But painful as it might be for me to admit, there actually are other shows taking place on the island right about now. So how about I tell you about them in gigs to dig across Prince Edward Island. June 21st, Route 225 with Alyssa Harper and Ben Aiken. They're all at the Trailside Music Hall. June 25th, Lizleo is having his album release with the Humanoid Movement and Adjust the Facts at Baba's Lounge. June 25th also sees Mike Stratton at Next Door Lounge, and on the 26th, he's at Water's Edge. June 26th also sees Chris Gauthier, Nick Gauthier, Olivia Blaquier, and special guests at Stanley Bridge Hall. The next night, June 27th, it's Stanley Bridge Hall. It's the Harbor Light Trio with Olivia Blaquier, and they are also playing there on June 30th. June 28th, it's the first Diversity Festival in Charlottetown, a series of 7 concerts that'll be happening over the summer. This first show is at Confederation Landing Park. June 29th, Fishten and Louis Michaud is playing at Harborfront Theater in Summerside, and on the 30th, they are at the Surrey Show Hall, of course, in Surrey. Looking into next month, July 3rd, it's the 39th annual PEI Bluegrass and Old Time Music Festival with the Janet McGarry Band, Blue Streak, the Stiff Family, the Bad Hoss, and more. That's happening at Dundas Fairgrounds, and it continues on into July 4th and July 5th. July 5th also sees the next Diversity Festival happening in Alberton on Main Street in that town. July 8th, Lawrence Maxwell plays the kickoff party at the Cavendish Beach Music Festival, where you can also find John Donovan taking the tailgate stage on July 9th. July 10th, we have the Shipwrecks doing their reunion show at Spinnaker's Landing in Summerside. July 12th, Spudfest 7 with Cell Death and the Burning Hell playing in Surrey at 93 St. Catharines Road. If that sounds specific, it's because it's somebody's backyard. And July 15th, the Sidewalks are doing a reunion show at the Trailside. iTunes, the only podcast to play nothing but music from Prince Edward Island artists, ends its season with a live show at the Trailside Music Hall, June 23rd at 7 p.m., with performances by and interviews with Richard Wood, Karen Pyra, Jay Diss, Paula Arsenault, Nico Romero, and Scott Parsons. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Cooper Institute, which advocates for democracy here on PEI. This is a combination of acts you've never seen share a stage before, so get your tickets now. Trailside.ca, 902-367-3311, or scan the QR code. You ain't heard island music till you've heard iTunes.
Hi, I'm Tamara.
Hi, I'm Loic.
And we're from the Umbrella Collective. And you're listening to iLetunes with Adam Michael James.
We'll conclude this Season 3 interview retrospective of iLetunes with a fellow who's been rocking out since the 60s. He started out here in Charlottetown, but took his act all over Canada and racked up all kinds of adventures on the road, including being witness to a celebrity sighting and a Toronto recording studio. Ironically, though our troubadour has in fact been recording songs for decades, none of them have actually seen a proper release outside of some posts on SoundCloud. That is about to change, as I found out during this extended convo I had in April with JimSidMac, appropriately enough up in Baba's Lounge, where I also found out that he got his first guitar lesson from an infamous island guitarist. Let's relearn it all through this iLetunes flashback. So in this episode of iLetunes, we're going to do something a little different. Usually when I interview folks from the music community here, it is from the iLetunes studios, otherwise known as my basement.
But today we are here at the infamous Baba's Lounge upstairs with JimSidMac, and he is going to tell us a little bit or a lot about his very, very long career, and it's not over yet. There is some new stuff coming out from him, so this is very exciting. So
what could possibly go wrong?
That's going to be our mantra for the thing. But so you've been doing this for quite a while. You've done it under different names. Let's start with where you're from and how you got interested in music in the first place.
From Charlottetown.
Mm-hmm.
We had coffee houses back in the late 60s at the Kirk of St. James. It was called the Subway Coffee House. And people would get up on the stage to play. And I was management, so to speak, at 16. And then I see all these guys on the stage, and I said, well, I should be doing that. So I got a couple of lessons from George and Toniac, and off I went.
Nice, good old George.
Yeah.
And so once you did get started, where did that lead you?
Well, I played every bar in town. And in those days, there were
tons,
at least 20.
Right.
And we would go to Johnny Reed's on Saturday afternoon, three of us, me and Frank Trainer and a couple other singers, and we'd all enter the song contest. And usually one of us would be in the top three, maybe sometimes all three of us. So then we put the money together and off we go on the town. So that's how I started. And then I had a job in the ferries at Wood Islands, and I would get laid off Christmas.
Sure.
And be back in May. So I would take off and go to Florida for the winter. And I played all over Florida. I used to stay in Flagler Beach, just north of Daytona.
Oh, wow.
But I played in Key West, and I played in Sarasota, and a lot of places. And then I went back to Toronto, and that's different stories.
Oh, yeah? Anything stick out?
Well, there's a cool one at Eastern Sound. Scott, my engineer, worked at Eastern Sound. And he had this great idea with a cassette for Going Home Today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's got the rain in the background. He had this idea to take his four-track cassette and weld it together or whatever he did. So it kept playing the rain all through the whole song.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, cool.
And we're in studio too.
Right.
And I'm looking across the hall through the door, and there's Gordon Lightfoot.
Wow.
He was doing Sundown. But I had specific instructions, don't go near him.
Right. That only makes sense.
Well, he mixes his own stuff, and he's pretty fussy about it.
So you were working on your song there at the same time he was working on his. That's amazing. What were the odds?
Well, we played in quite a few places in Toronto. We did the front room at the Horseshoe, the warm-up, so to speak. And we had a couple of regular places we played. Two of us, me and Jamie together, man, just put my rhythm guitar and his fiddle and lead guitar, and boom. And he'd walk around the whole bar with it.
Oh, of course, because you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, and he was really good at it. So we rented a 24-track studio. We started out on an 8-track studio, went to 16, and then we had a 1-inch 24-track, and this was a 2-inch 24-track.
Wow.
And I rented the whole studio for $200 for the whole day.
Which is, even back then, is pretty amazing.
Well, in downtown Yonge Street.
Yeah.
And the boys just came and said nobody even mentioned the word money. And you do that down here in Charlottetown? How much do I get paid?
Yeah.
But we always played the music, and if something happens with it, then you're going to get your share. We always did it that way. And that's when the fun is, when you're just playing music for the sake of playing music.
That's true. The joy of creation, as it were.
Oh, Stout. That's one of the bands we had.
So you were in lots of different bands then?
Yeah, through the years.
Were you in more bands than doing solo work, or?
Yeah, half and half, pretty much.
So you played all over Canada and Florida for many years. And so I know it was different to
put out recordings then, because you couldn't just go on a computer and,
You needed a record company.
you needed a record company and a studio and all that stuff. So that's why you hadn't put anything out during that period, because it was
I
the
talked to
process
two
was-
different record companies, and one wanted to charge me $5,000 for one song.
Yeah, forget that.
I'm not doing that. He was a well-known musician, but Jamie could do a better job. And he's in my living room.
Right. And you already had such a working relationship with him.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all fun. Yeah, well, I just play in my computer most of the time now, put it together, and I've got half a dozen ready to go. And if I get the right musicians together, then we'll figure out something.
Right.
Yeah, well, that Love and Illusion, that was created on the spot.
Which is another one of his songs, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fun. I had no idea how that was going to go. All of a sudden, everybody got in this mood, and we're a rock and roll band now. Yeah, well, those were fun days. Love and Illusion was back from the 80s, but it just never got released for various reasons. I didn't sign the contract for one.
Oops.
I'm not going on the road 200 nights a year. No way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be a little intense. That would be a little intense.
And then I met my wife and moved back to PEI, and poof, different life down here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of glad I did make the move, but I had it made in Toronto. I was building superintendent of a high-rise luxury condo building. Lived in a luxury apartment and just had to look after the people.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And then you could do your music on your off hours. Or on hours.
Yeah. Well, that's a long time ago, too. We came home here in 91, I guess, or 92. And we had 2 kids, and that's the family story.
Yeah, like you said, a different life. Different life. And you changed your name a lot.
Well, only those 2 times.
So we have JimSidMac.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sid Thomas.
Sid Thomas and JimSidMac. Yeah, 3.
And JimSidMac, which is what you go by now.
It's going to stay that way.
You say that now.
Well, some people know me as Jim, and some people know me as Sid. And a lot of people that know Sid have no idea who Jim is. And vice versa.
I get a lot of that. Obviously, Adam Michael James is my professional name. Mike is what I go by in the real world.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people call me Adam, and I just stopped correcting people. It's
Okay.
like, I've been called worse.
Well, me too. Had some interesting times in Banff. I met a guy named Gay DeLorme. And he's the guy that wrote the song for Shotgun. I played at a place called Bumper's Beef House for 3 years, maybe, once a month. And it's just called the Chimney Lounge, and it's just like a folk lounge. Anyway, they sold it to some young people who wanted to make a discotheque. So, bye, Sid.
You could have done disco songs.
Well, no, but the story gets better. The story does get better. So I decided, okay, what the heck, man? I'm going to go skiing for the day. So I went up to Sunshine Village, did my ski run, and went in for a beer after. And I noticed there was nobody playing or anything, and they had a nice lounge there. So I asked, was usually somebody playing here? So we were supposed to get somebody, but they canceled. And I said, well, I just happen to have a PA in my car. Let's try a song or two and see how it goes. Anyway, I played there the whole winter.
Nice. It's a beautiful spot, too.
Lived in a chalet with people skiing by my window in the morning.
Was that a bird? No, it's just a
Oh
guy
my
skiing.
gosh, man! That was a very memorable experience.
Oh my God! I mean, I only drove through Banff for like part of a day, and it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine living there. Then during the winter too.
Well, I was through the winter. Then I would go out through Cranbrook, Penticton, Vernon, Kamloops. Even up to Fort St. John one time with the band. That was a story too. We drove all the way up there. We were backing up a female country singer band called Lodi, very good band. We had a punk rock drummer, progressive rock bass player. He even looked like, and the lead guitar player was just out of, anyway, we were backing up a female country singer. So when we get up there in the bar we're supposed to play in, she gets into a fight. It ended up as a gay bar. And she got in an argument with the owner, and we got canceled.
Oh, jeez.
So that time I went for my beer down at the big hotel. There's one big hotel there, the CN Hotel, and sat down for a beer, and there's no band. I said, how come there's no band? Well, they never showed up this week.
Lots of flakes. But it worked out for you.
We played there for the week. The third set was ours, and we started in with Sultans of Swing or something. And we doing Eric Clapton, and then she come back on for the last set. That didn't always go well.
Well, I mean...
Well, the experiences that you have, eh?
Oh, yeah. Well, especially doing live performances of any kind, whether it's music or theater. You know, it's you never know what's going to happen when you get out there.
I know. That's what the fun is.
Yeah, it's a whole different
It depends
energy.
on who the audience is.
Yeah, that can change the nature of the performance too.
Well, I went into one spot on my playing in different places. I forget the name of it, but there was a big marquee out front, and it had Sir Sid on the marquee, and it's just me and my guitar.
Uh-huh.
And the week before, there was a 5-piece band. So on Monday, I just said, okay, anybody who's got a guitar and wants to come and play along, by the end of the week, we'll have a band. And we did.
Nice.
Anyway.
Sounds like you've kind of lucked into a lot of
strange things.
A lot of strange things. Like you were just telling me before that you went into a church.
Yeah.
And
well, I play in a lot of churches.
Sure.
Here, the one
but somebody that you met when there was one seat left in the church.
Yeah, the president of MCA Records.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, that's not much to tell. I should have talked to him more and said, "You need somebody to look after your house or something. Well, stick around for a while.
Take care of your dog.
You got a place for me to stay."
Where was this at?
Nashville.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's right.
I played the Bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
3 songs. They have a front room there where they just have the A&R people come.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. I was there for about a month. Had a good time, but I had a wedding to play or during the summer, so I thought, all right, I guess I'm going over the summer. I was supposed to go back in the fall for the finals of that talent contest. That was 83, and that's when I went to Toronto. And I had lived in Calgary for when I was doing the West Coast thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wow.
And I lived in Edmonton. I went to University of Alberta. And the person I was renting the house from, or my apartment from, he was a musician.
Funny how that turned out.
Well, he introduced me to Ida Banks, who was the finder the places to play. Anyway, and off I went. Big Miller, he used to do a lot of the bookings. Anyway, that was interesting,
Oh,
too.
my God, it must have been.
Yeah.
So when you played all these different cities, all these different shows, I mean, obviously, you know, there's lots of covers because they're crowd pleasers. Did you throw in?
Oh, yeah,
Did you throw
always.
in original songs?
Always.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not those Toronto ones, but out west, there's different ones that I had.
Oh, sure.
Song for the Working Man, Settle Down, and I don't know, there was a whole bunch of them back in those days.
So are you still playing here now, or?
I don't do a lot of live stuff.
Yeah.
I'll get up, play one song, but I've done my finger thing here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm learning to play my B minor chord with 3 fingers.
Oh, is it trigger finger, or?
Oh, I don't know what you call it, but it's not going straight.
Oh, it might be trigger finger. So you've got a bunch of recordings coming out now. Love and Illusion. When is that coming out?
It'd be in the summer sometime.
Okay, cool. So that's not too far away.
As soon as I figure a couple more things out.
There's always stuff to figure out.
No, I'll talk. I I know a lot of young musicians, and
Mhm.
they're Angel Boys. They just came back from a tour, and they're only 20-something years old.
So are you going to re-record some of these songs, or?
No, they're already done.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But that's
the
cool,
new
though.
one, though. That the Mystic Road ones will have to be mastered.
And that's going to be a different album, maybe next year sometime, or later this year.
Whenever I can figure it out.
There's always a lot to figure out with this stuff.
Well, I know writing the songs is one thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the promotion especially is difficult.
Yeah.
With anything.
But anyway, I'll figure it out.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Mystic Road, too. There's a Mystic Road somewhere in Amara. I was given a rhyming dictionary.
I have those.
And I'm going through A, saying, what do we got in here? Look, Amara rhymes with Damara, Samara, and a couple other words. Riding along on the wings of the Samara. That's the Mystic River, that one.
Nice.
Mystic Road and then Mystic River.
Oh, okay. Nice. I like how you tied that together.
I do have some modern Christian songs coming out, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you've got a bunch of stuff
I've
coming.
only got enough for an EP on that, so
Still.
when that's coming. But a couple of Crowd to Say Goodbye is a very, very good song. It's one of my latest ones, and it's got a lot of chords in it, though, so I got to find the right people to play along with it.
Oh, there's no shortage of awesome musicians
Well,
here.
it's got the same chord progression that John Lennon used on Starting Over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's a couple other bands used it, too, for different songs, so it's not stealing it.
Well, of course. I mean, there's only so many.
Well,
there's only
nobody
so many
figured it
chords.
out, anybody, unless they knew that, and then they could listen to both of them and say, oh, that's that chord progression.
I mean, everything borrows from everything else eventually. I mean, again, there's only so many notes on a keyboard.
B minor, E, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, B minor, E, A.
That's the progression.
Verse 1. Anyway, that's the new stuff. I'm having fun with it. I wake up in the middle of the night with the lyric in my head.
Oh, I've done that.
Write it down right away, man.
I've
That's
done that.
rule number 1.
Mm-hmm, before you forget.
Well, in the morning you will.
Mm-hmm. I have experienced that. I've actually woken up from having something in a dream and say, okay, let's just write that down. Yeah.
Anyway, then away you go.
Is there anything else that you still want to do? I mean, you've got these albums coming out, but is there anything that kind of makes you think, I always wanted to do this, but I never got around to it?
Well, I'm going to put out a book of poetry, too.
Oh, cool. I thought about doing that because I've got
Well, I don't have a lot of it, but
well,
I might put that out with the album.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Little tie-in.
Something a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And song lyrics, poetry, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, well, some of these were supposed to be songs, but they were too complicated to...
Yeah, that happens. One of the songs that you've done that we are going to play here is PEI to Me.
Yep.
And so tell me a little bit about that and how that came to be and when you recorded it.
I'm not sure the exact year. Oh, it was a year that, was it 125 years or something? Or
Oh, okay. 1992?
maybe. Was there a contest for songs that year?
Probably.
The way it came about, I used to teach guitar at Sober's Music.
Really?
Before Long and McQuaid. And Dave Jiggs McDonald was the owner. And he came up with this idea that he would like to find somebody who could write a song that people could sing along to. I said, kaboom, let's do it. So anyway, we get together in Donnie Duran's living room one day with Blair Henry and Robert Arsenault. He's a mandolin player. He's the best on the island. And Sarah Sullivan.
Sounds like that PI to Me kind of came about at the same time you moved back.
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. But as soon as I played it for him, he said, that's what I want.
I really, really am grateful that you sat down with me.
Yeah, okay.
And we finally did this because we've been talking about it for a while.
Well, I appreciate it.
and just getting into all your stories and how well traveled you are with all of it too. It's
Yeah. Not rich and famous or anything.
no, but still,
Sometimes it's better not to be.
Some of these experiences you can't buy.
I'd probably be dead if I was rich. I always say if I was a cat, I would have been dead a long time ago.
Well, I personally am glad that you're still here.
I'm way past our knives.
Maybe 14 or 15?
Yeah, around there.
Something like that.
You drive across the 19th wonder of the world, see a portrait of a red and green horizon. You've heard about those famous windmills to the west, to the east, a friendly town where you can have some fun. Trying to say, or native tongue is trying to say. Here we are in good old Isle of Prince Edward, we're just hoping for one bright and sunny day. You say this is your island, I say this is my island. It's there for everyone to see. Everyone to see. You say Prince Edward Island, I say that's PEI to me. That's PEI to me. So nice to know that you can walk on down the street. People say, how do you do? Where are you going? Every smiling face, each person that you meet could be that friend that you've been longing to be knowing. I wonder, is it only something in the air? Why do those people always smile while seldom wealthy? Pleasant atmosphere, it seems so easy there. Good food to eat, a place to live, and children healthy. You say this is your island, I say this is my island. It's there for everyone to see. You say Prince Edward Island, I say that's PEI to me. You say Prince Edward Island, I say that's PEI to me. So go now, tell your stories of the land and sea, about those people on this island where we're living. All those stories of those things those people do, and don't you know if there's a need that they'll be given. As you talk about your home and native land, I hope you always will remember to be proud. And should you get the chance to sing this little song, I want you all to stand up loud and sing it loud. You say this is your island, and I say this is my island. It's there for everyone to see. You say Prince Edward Island, I say that's PEI to me. Whole chorus one more time. You say this is your island, I say this is my island. It's there for everyone to see. You say Prince Edward Island, I say that's PEI to me. That's PEI to me. That's PEI to me. You drive across the 19th wonder of the world, you see a portrait of a red and green horizon.
JimSidMac on isletunes with one of the many songs he wrote while off island, expressing his desire to be on island. That was PEI to me. And to me, this other man with three first names, as Adam Michael James, that's a label I always get, is only getting started despite having been a musician since the Beatles were first run. With the multiple releases JimSidMac is planning, I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them saw the light of day in the next few months. That was a look back at Season 3 of isletunes, the same season, by the way, that the show was nominated for a Music PEI Award, even if it didn't end up taking home the Glassy Blue statuette. One reward I know I'm going to get that I won't be able to display on a shelf is the gratification of being able to use this platform to help support democracy by way of the isletunes season finale live show happening Tuesday night at the Trailside. Tickets are just $30 and 25% of all sales will go to the Cooper Institute, which has been advocating for human rights and democracy here on the island for 42 years so far. The other 75% will be divided amongst the performing artists as honorariums, and those artists are, just to reiterate, Richard Wood, Karen Pyra, Jay Diss, Nico Romero, Paula Arsenault, and Scott Parsons. Has there ever been a combo like this together on an island stage before? Somehow, I doubt it. Let me also not forget to let these additional musicians take their preliminary bows for accompanying the aforementioned main attractions: Brent Chasen, Luca Hall, Paul Broadbent, M. Peters, and Sean Mooney, with Jocelyn LeBlanc singing alongside Paula Arsenault. An unforgettable night of entertainment for a good cause? Yes! Something you should miss? Hell no! So make sure to secure your seat at the Trailside by getting tickets at trailside.ca or by calling the box office at Back Alley Music 902-367-3311. If you're gonna end a season, end it in a big way, am I right? Looking forward to putting this on for you guys June 23rd at 7 p.m. That's Tuesday, by the way. And I'm proud to say that isletunes Season Finale Live is sponsored by Garden Isle Computing and The Humble Barber. Musical contribution to the isletunes theme by Kaylin McCauley and John Hashem. Show concept by Rocky O'Neill. Coordination assistance by Jackie Robichaux. I'm Adam Michael James, and after all that crass commercialism, there's not much more to say except to remind you of the words of Dutch diplomat Gijs de Vries, which are basically the mission statement of why I'm doing this live season finale. Ultimately, freedom and democracy are stronger than fear and tyranny. You know it. Thanks for listening, PEI. See you Tuesday night.